Back when I, 51 male, was young, I met a Mexican girl, Anne, in my school, who was new to the States. She was absolutely gorgeous and had a very distinctive look. We dated for 5 years, and I had always considered her the love of my life. We went to the same college together and always talked about getting married. Her family wasn't very keen on a white kid like me dating her. One day, she asked to meet me at a local park and tells me she has to skip town. I asked why and when I would see her. She acted like she couldn't talk long and just said she didn't know, but she was doing this for my safety. That was the last time I saw her. I moved on eventually, but I always thought of her. When Facebook became a thing, I tried to find her but never did. Eventually, I got married to my wife, 50 female, when we were in our early 40s. She already had 2 kids from a previous marriage. I've provided for them, but they were never warm to me. I don't really begrudge them for it, but I've never felt appreciated with everything I've sacrificed to provide. They are in their early 20s now. Fast forward to 6 months ago, a new girl, Beth, started at our office, and when I saw her, I was shocked. She was the spitting image of Anne. When I got the chance to talk to her privately, I asked if her mom's name was Anne. She said she honestly didn't know because she was adopted, but she had been hunting for her biological parents for years. She only had one photo to reference. I asked if I could see it. She said she would bring it the next day. I kept this from my wife. I didn't want to say anything if I didn't know 100%, and she is the jealous type and never liked hearing about Anne. The next day, Beth brought the photo and it was Anne. I told her my story. We both came to the realization that she was old enough to potentially be my daughter. We planned to get a paternity test that week. I was hesitant to tell my wife because I suspected she would forbid it. Well, she's my daughter. 29 years later, and I have a daughter. We were both overjoyed to have found one another, and she asked if we could start building a relationship. I came home that day and told my wife everything. She was livid, but not because I was keeping this from her, like what I thought she would be understandably upset over. My wife thinks I'd choose Anne and Beth over her. She doesn't want me to be in contact with a girl who isn't more of your child as much as our kids are to you. She feels that by building this relationship, I will see her kids as less of mine. I got mad and said that her kids are her kids, and I've been happy providing for them, but I am not their father. I am their stepfather, and sometimes I don't even feel they think that. She is forbidding me from this relationship, but I'm ready to die on this hill. I want to add that this all came to a head, and now she's seriously using the "it's her or me" ultimatum. Prior to this, we had a happy marriage. She doesn't work, and I provided for the family our whole time together. She has been in hysterics over this, saying Beth just wants to get money out of me. I'm starting to rethink our whole relationship, but I'm not sure if I'm being unreasonable by saying I'm absolutely going to make an effort to be in Beth's life from now on as her father. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Die on that hill, sir. I won't make any assumptions about your marriage, but it seems your wife may be jealous and doesn't want to share you or the benefits you bring with someone else. The fact that she's like this about your daughter is very telling. Congratulations and happy bonding. You are not wrong. Your wife giving that sort of ultimatum is extremely toxic behavior. You and your daughter deserve to have a relationship. Sounds like you've been hung up on Anne throughout your entire marriage. Otherwise, I don't understand the jealousy and anger coming from your wife. Y'all need to sit down and talk. I think OP's wife sees him more like a cash cow, and that's why she's so jealous and controlling. Build a relationship with your daughter, but maybe start off in a counseling environment. You are not the idiot. You are not leaving your wife or your stepchildren, only starting a new relationship with your daughter. You wouldn't be the idiot even if you spent more time with Beth, considering that you've missed 20 plus years of her life, and it doesn't seem like she knew either of her biological parents. Good luck, OP. You are not the idiot here. Trust me on this one. My mom had me when she was very young and didn't tell my biological father till I was 26. He had no clue, and when he found out, he was ecstatic. Told his wife and my half-siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, about me. It was weird and awkward because I'm his oldest now, but we haven't officially met in person. We live on opposite sides of the country. This may be something to talk to a family therapist about because it sounds like your wife needs some reassurance that you aren't going to up and abandon your family just because you found a lost member of it. I, nearly adult girl, and my 7 younger siblings were put into foster care a little over 2 years ago. After a year of being moved around, kicked out, and split up, a family stepped in and took on all 8 of us. I cannot thank them enough for what they did, and they have mentioned that they intend on adopting all of us. Since the start, they've offered therapy, and the middle 6 are all in. I have always declined, and youngest was a baby when we were removed, so he doesn't remember anything. Basically, I have my set ways of dealing with stuff. I hate the idea of talking about my issues with some random guy. I accept that it works for some, but I don't want to try. I've been through a lot, and as anyone would, I have things that trigger panic attacks. I deal with these by forcing myself to deal with the situation. A word triggers me, I listen to that word on repeat. I say it as much as I can, and what do you know? That word has no power over me anymore. I do it with just about everything. Very recently, I discovered a new one, cooking. Since I've been here, I've never had to cook, and one of my sisters asked me to make her a sandwich. I did so, and I felt the panic rise. I gave her the sandwich and went off to panic in the safe confines of my room. Foster mom asked me what was up. I explained, and she said that next time she'll make the sandwich. That wasn't good enough for me. And since then, I've been cooking as much as possible. My siblings love it, particularly the smaller ones. It's not that upsetting anymore, and I'm enjoying it now. My fosters have been trying to convince me into therapy. This morning, I snapped and told them I wouldn't go so they could stop trying. They gave me sad eyes and have left off, but I can feel them watching me. My brother said I should stop being a witch and let them take me. If I don't like it, I don't have to go again. My best friend thinks I can choose to go or not, but I should probably go just to ease their state of mind. Am I the idiot? Should I just give in to them? You're being an idiot to yourself, and probably the people around you. Your life sucked, kid. You were handed the nasty childhood with a side of foster care, and that sucks. But now, you have a chance at something better, and the chance involves letting a trained professional help you. No one is going to give you a gold medal in the Suffering Olympics. There's nothing noble about white-knuckling your way through panic attacks. Therapy isn't magic, but it is medicine. Some people have to set their own broken bones and stitch themselves up. Those who don't, get doctors to do it. You don't have to stitch yourself up anymore, and there is nothing heroic about insisting you will. Give it a try. No idiots here. Let me tell you something I've learned in raising a hurt child. If you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. This is profound and true. You may think that you have your coping mechanisms that work, but trauma comes out in many forms and when you least expect it. You have every right to choose a counselor that you feel you connect with. Try 10 if you have to, and no one can force you into therapy. But I think it's safe to say that the road ahead will be much smoother if you are able to put the past in the past and not let it poison your future. Best of luck to you. I'm 47 female, a mother of 3, 1 daughter, 20, and 2 boys, 19 and 18. My husband died 3 years ago, unexpectedly, and our lives have been hard ever since. My husband passed away 6 months after we moved to a new country in Europe, and ever since, my father has been our primarily financial carer, and he financially supports my children's schooling and whatever activities that needed to be paid for. My father passed away last month due to a kidney failure, and I'm in the process of inheriting some of his money. 6 months before he passed away, he gave me $5,000 to pay for my daughter's university, as she was starting her first year. I paid for the first semester, $1,800, and the rest I decided to spend on my 2 boys' private schooling. My father does not know that my boys are still behind in school, and I couldn't bear telling him in fear of humiliation. I didn't want him to be disappointed in me. My daughter found out a few months ago that I spent her tuition money on her siblings and was really upset with me, but I promised her I was going to figure it out and pay off the rest of her first year when the time comes. She was okay with that. But due to my father passing away during her first semester finals, I was not able to come up with the money in time to pay for her second semester. The inheritance money is going to take a couple of months to come through, and my daughter was incredibly upset. We had arguments. She called me uncaring and selfish. She screamed at me for spending her money, but in my opinion, she was selfish, calling it her money. So I told her exactly that her brothers have a right to an education as well. I couldn't leave them still behind in school, and I paid a lot of money to the school they're in right now to help progress them quicker. She argued that she had to endure studying in a public high school in a completely different language that she didn't speak or understand during her senior year, and that her brothers dropped out of it because they couldn't handle it and were spoiled rotten, and that's why they're behind. And she said she didn't demand private schools out of respect for our lack of money. She also said that she's studying in a cheap university in a major that she wouldn't have picked because the university only had 2 departments in English language. That was her point, that she wasn't being selfish at all. I feel like she's being super ungrateful. I kept her well fed, put a roof over her head, and she was speaking and screaming at me disrespectfully. But I feel a little bad. But her university accepted to give her some time until I get my inheritance money to pay, so it's no big deal. I feel like the idiot because I should have thought it through and took account that my father might pass away unexpectedly. But how could I have known? She is not speaking to me right now and is convinced that I'm an idiot. Am I one? Instead of being grateful for having such an understanding daughter, you're being, insert some colorful language here, by making her seem unreasonable for demanding what's rightfully hers. You should be focusing on your son's studies and trying to improve them, not enable their entitled or spoilt behavior. Apologize to your daughter right away if you don't want her running away and going no contact with you the first chance she gets. Until you make things right, you are the idiot. Yes, you are the idiot. You upended her life. You prioritized the well-being of her male siblings, and you spent her education fund. Part of this was due to you wanting to avoid feeling embarrassed about your son's not doing as well as your daughter in school. Caring for her basic needs is bare minimum. Where's your concern for her future, for her happiness? You owe her an apology. You are the idiot. Your father gave you the money specifically for your daughter's tuition. End of story. Also, why aren't you working? Your children are basically all grown up and can be left alone at home. It's rich of you to say that you kept her fed and gave her a roof over her head while not actually being the one to bring the money in. In the end of the day, it was not you that kept her clothed, but your father. My brother, I'll call him Bro, had this great idea for a company. Bro had no money and honestly is lazy, but he's creative. I fronted half the startup money from my savings, where I was saving to buy a house. Our father, I'll call him Dad, invested the other half with the idea that the company would pay him back within 5 years. Fast forward 2 years and the business is struggling, mainly because we had to hire someone else to work because my brother didn't do anything, just sat at a desk and goofed around on the internet. Company was about to go under, and when I told him that, he told me he'd sell me his half for $10,000. I take him up on it because honestly, I can save more than that by not paying him a salary for doing nothing. Now, 5 years later, my company made the first $1 million annual net profit, and I now have 5 employees and have long since paid Dad back with interest. When I told Dad about the milestone, he told Bro, who had moved to Colorado with some friends with the money I'd given him for his half. He called me saying that half of the company should be his because it was his idea. I reminded him that he sold me his half and that it was a success only because I put everything I had into it to make it a success, and I don't owe him anything and couldn't even afford to hire him since he never actually did any work, which is true. Margins are slim, especially right now. Bro called Dad, and Dad is agreeing with him and asked me to make him a partner. I refused, and now they're both mad at me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Look, he sold you his share. Hopefully you got it in writing, all legal-like. He doesn't have a claim in the business that you made a success. Also, your father gave you a loan, which you paid back. If you get a loan from the bank, they don't expect a say in who you hire or not. Explain it again to your father and brother, or don't, but don't let them make you feel guilty that you put in a lot of work to make your business a success. Congratulations. 100% this, not the idiot. Brother took off happily with $10,000 in his pocket when things got tough, after not only not putting in any effort, but being a drain on resources himself. And when you turn things around and make it a success, he believes you owe him a slice of it? Yeah, he's clearly and definitely high. You are not wrong. Can't be a lazy sellout and still get profits from the business you bailed on. Your dad and brother are idiots here, especially your dad, for supporting your brother when he is clearly wrong. I understand he's kicking himself for the lazy, childish choice he made, but he made his bed, and now he has to sleep in it. My sister-in-law's husband had a workplace accident in January. He will be out of commission for some months, so she's supporting the whole family of 5, on her income, which isn't a lot, and he has nothing coming in right now from his job. So my sister-in-law asked me to watch the kids Monday to Friday, 8 through 7 on. She offered a few dollars when she could spare it, but approached me as she really needed help. And could I do it? I told her no. I told her no because I did it before, about a year ago, for maybe a month after school, and she and her husband made it impossible. They are very lazy with discipline, and the kids believe they can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter if they're in someone else's home or if you talk to them. They behave like they're royalty, refusing to eat meals I had prepared and demanding I make stuff especially for them or order especially for them. In that month, they wanted McDonald's every single day. And on the few days I did bring it to them, they wanted to order a ridiculous amount of food. Fries, 2 burgers, 20-piece nuggets, onion rings, 2 different drinks, and that was each. I had to step in because I was not paying all that for them. They would climb on furniture. They would try to mess around with the TV cables and computer cables. They did not like being told no or pulled away, and their parents shrugged it off as them being adventurous. Another time, one of the kids spilled their drink all over the floor while trying to throw it over their sibling, and when I asked for help cleaning it up, they said no and would not budge. My husband even got told he wasn't their dad when he asked them not to steal our son's toys in case they broke them. So we said we would not do it again. And now they're asking for this because of the recent events. But I do not feel anything will have changed. And if anything, they might act worse. My sister-in-law did not take being told no well, and she accused me of being awful family and turning my back on their family. And she said they would help us out if roles were reversed. She even tried to convince her other brother, hers and my husband's oldest brother, and he said he wouldn't do it either because he values respect in his home. Their parents, though, think we should be helping more since we live in the same state as her, while the rest of the family are scattered. And it makes me feel bad because they are going through a lot right now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your house, your rules. If they can't teach their kids basic respect in other people's houses, and given you've already been through this experience, you are clearly not the awful family member here. They can't just demand others' help when they can't teach their own kids the obligations of being in another person's home. You are not the idiot. You have good reasons for your choice, and if they know the reasons and cannot vouch for it to go differently, that's on them. The people who are on their side can come and help out, but you don't have to. It's not your kids, your job, or your finances. You have nothing to do with the situation they got into, so you are under no obligation to help them. It would be an act of kindness on your part, but one they may not have earned. You are not wrong, definitely. You already know from previous experience that it won't work in your household. And why can't the father watch his children since he won't be working? Probably because he knows he doesn't want to deal with them either. Also, 11 hours each day? Yeah, no.